Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be watching this daily blog. As we gather together during these difficult days, I just want to share with you how I'm gaining some strength, maybe even gaining some steam. I'll begin by saying how thankful I am that God has kept our church safe. We've had no one in our midst who have tested positive for the virus. We've had folks who've been exposed at work or at a funeral or something. The church has been continued to be kept safe, and I'm so very thankful for that. One of the things that we've learned, though, is to use the technology that God has given us to do things in new and innovative ways. Yesterday, uh, I went to Staycation Bible School with Uncle Buddy and Aunt Amanda. With my one of my great nephews at home, and the story that Uncle Buddy told was of the Apostle Paul uh, headed to Rome on a trade ship, caught on the seas, and then stranded on an island. Um, in his simple obedience to God, he was stuck, and in the process of being stuck, added on top of that, Paul struggled with a thorn in the flesh, and um, he knew what was going on. He learned how important it was to lash yourself to something that is substantial when the storm strikes. That's what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to cling to God during these storms, but what lashes us together is the very Spirit of Christ and the Word of God. And Paul learned to do just that. I think there's an interesting dichotomy of tensions that are going on today. While Satan punched and pounded on the Apostle Paul, the Lord's purpose uh, intended for Paul to blows and to keep him humble, to keep him from being full of pride and exalting himself. You see, pride doesn't belong in the hearts of the broken, the wounded, the anguished of soul. I've heard it said this: pain plants the flag of reality in the fortress of a rebel heart. What does that mean? It's a mom and a dad keeping watch over a child that's been diagnosed with leukemia. There's no pride there. They've been humbled to the point of almost despair. You see, I really don't know how the thorn in the flesh, and nobody knows what that was. Everybody has their idea that it was an eyesight problem, but no one really knows. But sometimes we get snagged on not knowing the thorn in the flesh, and we forget how did Paul. He confessed that he begged God on 3 different occasions to remove it from him. And you know what? We would have done the same. You and I would have prayed and begged for relief. Father, please take away this thorn. Lord, I beg of you, remove it. Take this pain away from me. And that was Paul's response. Each time God said, my grace is sufficient. But do you see the amazing transparency written in Paul's life? You see, the world needs more followers of Jesus who embrace the pain and the hardship rather than deny it. How helpful for us to see all this as God's plan to keep us humble. That can't be taught or learned in colleges or seminaries. Those lessons are learned in the trenches of life when we learn to lean on Him. What people of prayer would we become if we just learned to turn to Him and accept where we are? You see, that's precisely what happened as Paul turned again and again and again to the Lord. And God gave him the answer that he didn't pray for, nor did he expect. God didn't depart. His grace was always there. and it was always more than sufficient. The storm we're going through is real, but God is greater and grace is available. Have a great day.